Greetings. Welcome to Limitless Alchemy 808, a channel of divine reflection. I'm Patience. Happy Leo season, everyone. It's August 4th today, and I've had quite a few loved ones celebrate their birthdays since Friday. And my ascendant is also in Leo, so this is a very formative time for all of us who embody that placement. And we are in the midst of the Lionsgate portal, which will culminate this Friday on 8/08. So the computer at the office had mentioned to me that it's also International Owl Awareness Day, because many species of owl are at risk and basically borderline extinct, because usually when animals begin to border extinction, they're at risk of no longer existing in this realm, is because they're either misunderstood or they're coveted. And owls are one of the greatest pest control that we have. They will eat a variety of animals, even each other. They are cannibalistic. But mostly they prefer to eat rodents and gophers and moles and the sorts of things that like to eat our food stuff. So I was reading up on it, and there's many great websites that have lots of advice. If you live in an area populated by owls, it's great to put up nest boxes that are properly installed, which I forgot the website. I'll include it in the description box, but they have plans and everything where you can properly install a nest box for owls. And I believe, what species of owl was it? The barn owl? I think it's the barn owl that they said that a mating pair will eat 3,000 rodents in a year. And the best thing to do is not use any poisons to control rodents, to mostly allow the owls to do their job, because when we use chemicals as pest control, and then the owls will eat those rodents infected by the chemicals, they get secondhand poisoning and will die. And I mean, I've known some people who regard owls as bad luck, as bad omens, and I just don't agree with that. I've had owls come to me at many different intervals since, the most recent ones were back in 2020 up until now. When I lived in Rosemead, I would hear an owl I lived in townhouses, and there was an alleyway between the garages of each section of units, and it would wake me up in the middle of the night, just hooting in the alleyway. And I always felt special to be woken up by the owl and hear its hooting. And this is before I even awoken out of sleepwalking, or just recovered from amnesia. So when I began delving more into information after the whole transformation that I went through over a year ago, by choosing myself and choosing to not fall into patterns of people pleasing and being inauthentic to myself. Many owls would come to me when I lived in my apartment in West Covina, and there are many deities that are associated with the owl. They're mostly feminine deities. I didn't really see any male deities that are associated with owls, but there's Goddess Hecate, Goddess Athena, Goddess Lakshmi from Hinduism, and Santa Muerte. And owls around the globe represent wisdom, intuition, and can also represent abundance, and also are seen as messengers of the spirit world. And they're really quite interesting birds because they have silent flight, which allows them to hunt so well. Their eyes make up 3% of their body weight, which may not seem like a lot, but in relation to humans, their eyes are 10,000 times bigger than ours. And though they cannot turn their eyes, they can only turn their heads. So, and I do believe they could turn their heads in a circle, or maybe that's just from Winnie the Pooh. But anyways, on this channel, I love to talk about animals that are perceived to be evil, perceived to be bad, perceived to be with disdain. I had posted a short not too long ago about an opossum that I interrupted eating on my walk at the office. And my coworker, when we first saw it, she was like, "Is that a cat?" And I was like, "Maybe." And we were walking up close. I was like, "No, that's a possum." And she was just like freaking out. She was like, "Let's turn back." And I was like, "Why? Why should we turn back? I mean, there's nothing, it's not gonna do anything." And she was like, "No, it's gonna run and attack us." I was like, "Have you ever heard of a possum attacking someone?" And she's like, "No." And I was like, "Well, then let's come on." So I kept walking, and that's when I started filming. And she was just, "It's gonna attack you." And I was like, "No, it's not." And sure enough, it was just scared, and it's kind of just stood there because it was it was perceived, and it didn't want to be. But it was eating. It was just having some dry cat food, and it wasn't hurting anybody. So afterwards, I told her, I was like, "Did it do anything?" And she's like, "Well, no." She's like, "But it's a rat. Look at the tail." I was like, "That has nothing to do with it. It's actually a marsupial, which is the only one in North America. And they actually are the cleanup crew of our environment. Like, they want to eat dead things. They're just scavengers. They're never gonna attack you unless they're defending themselves, and most times they're just gonna play dead or run off. So there's not really anything to be afraid of, because there's people that I know that just literally take joy in running them over, and it's like, I just don't understand, because the more we comprehend the world around us, the less we're gonna fear it. So the fact that I can't comprehend, well, I mean, I do comprehend why they do those sorts of things, but I'm still befuddled. Like, it's still like, I just can't believe why someone would be so ignorant. But you know, we're all at different stages in the experience, and everything you see, touch, feel, hear, taste is just aspects of you pushed out anyway. So that is why, you know, when you're at different stages, you're going to experience different reflections. And it's come to my knowing that when you keep true to yourself, when you keep focusing on yourself, and you're just staying aligned with your highest excitement while navigating the 3D, it's just a pruning, right? So in Christianity, they talk about how God will trim the tree, you know, God will trim the tree so that you can be fruitful. So that's essentially what you're doing by you choosing to be authentic, to uphold your boundaries, to not people please, to not fawn or fake anything anymore. Keep recalling your power back from everything and everyone that doesn't align with or serve you. Then people and situations soon reveal themselves to you as whether it is to remain in your experience or to leave. And there's those that still speak ill of you, that still label you as the problem, that continue to use you as a scapegoat because their reality sucks. And that's not your problem. That's, yes, everyone and everything is you pushed out, but it's just outdated timeline. It's just old programming that is working to create drama for you to react, working to rope you back in to that cycle. And you know what? You're not here to explain yourself. You're not here to defend yourself. There's nothing to defend, because what you know is what you know, and what you say to yourself is true. And if they want to tell themselves that you're the problem, then that's fine. They can tell themselves that, because you can make it so easy for them and just not be around. You're shifting into that timeline where nothing bothers you really anymore, because you understand that you create your reality, that everyone and everything is an aspect pushed out of you. So whenever the old programming, the old timeline, I mean, you're literally creating Mandela shift. You're literally creating split reality, because you choose yourself. You choose to be the operant power and not to be an observer. And it triggers a lot of people, even those that you felt are supposed to be in your experience, are supposed to be in your timeline. You're soon realizing that they're actually not. And that's okay, because they're serving their purpose to reflect to you and help you to comprehend the lesson that no matter what, you're in charge. No matter what, the world is yours. And it's not to incite egomania or anything like that. No. It's not to go out and start exerting authority and power over others. It's merely that you know what is meant for you. You already have. And there's just, it's just, you're just enjoying things. You're just having fun. You're just being you. And the people that it's triggering is because they can't comprehend how you got there. How the fact that you're so detached from forcing outcomes or chasing answers or people, it's just confusing to them. And if it's confusing to them, it could be that, you know, it's just the old program shedding away. There's something, a download that came to me, that there's not really anything to be healed. Yes, the trauma that happens to many of us throughout our experience, I mean, we're all born with original trauma. And in the Bible, they call it original sin. But really, it's the fact that coming through the birth portal is traumatic for all of us. That's why we cry when we come out, because we were safe, we were warm, we were cradled in the womb, and basically being pushed out, ripped out, however you come out of there. It's just, it's a sensory shock. And I mean, you're just a baby, you know, like, yeah, it's gonna be traumatic. So that is the original trauma that we all carry, or, I mean, we don't have to carry it, but we all have. And then what happens to what happens throughout the experience that can be traumatic for us, those are the burdens that we choose to release. I don't want to get too much into it because I'm gonna make another video about a follow-up video to my sex, drugs, and religion video that I had posted. It was like earlier in the year, but it's another cyclical trap within the spiritual community that you need to heal, that you need to do all this work to become the best version of yourself, but really you're always the best version of yourself. Because there's no good or evil, you're the best version of yourself because you're embodying the role you agreed to play within the experience, within the story. So the traumas that, or the healing, I should say, that you may be led to believe that you're doing, it's really just recognizing those experiences, those imprints, and choosing to release them or integrate them into your identity. Integrate them into how you present to others. And even though it's said that there's no future, there's no past, there's only now, I don't agree with that anymore, because creation is done. Everything is made. So of course there's a past. Of course there's a future. The thing is to just not get hung up on nostalgia or anxiety. So yes, remember the past so that aspects that don't align with you will not repeat, but to not live there wishing that everything was the way that it was before. And then, yes, the future's already happened. It's already there. Everything you want, you already have, or you wouldn't want it at all. But to not worry about how it's going to come to you, about how it's going to work out, about who's going to be in your life. It's being detached and knowing that everything and everyone will reveal themselves in time to you in the perfect moment. Everything's perfectly patterned. There's no coincidences. So I just wanted to come on and reassure you that you're literally living your best life. You're literally embodying the God within you, and knowing that everything's falling perfectly into place for you. Everything is unfolding in the way that it should, in the time that it should. That you are at the perfect pace, in the perfect place, with the perfect people when you're with them. And that's why you're here now. And whatever's going on around, just know that it's changing the way that you want it to. It's changing the way that you know it's supposed to go. Things that we don't align with or don't want or don't desire, whatever you would like to say. Thank you, universe. the more you react to it, the more you will see it. You can respond to things. You can acknowledge or not acknowledge, but just knowing that everything is there to teach a lesson. Everything is there to bring a message. We've just had so many interesting natural occurrences. The tsunami watch that we had recently because of the earthquake in Russia, and then the volcano erupting in Russia that has not erupted in 6 centuries. They're all just confirmations and affirmations that what you know to be true are true. I'll see you in the next one. Stay soft, stay sweet, and stay pure. Keep loving yourself, and that is going to bring the highest love that you know is for you. Take care.